In today's video, we don't only fix a loose OBD II port, we add a hidden OBD II port to the Porsche Cayenne. We add a Bluetooth scanner to the hidden port, we leverage it with the upgraded head unit to diagnose any issues and interact with the ECU on the go, and see metrics like RPM and temperatures. Last but not least, we also fix the sloppy OBD II port and make plugging into it rock solid. Plugging into the OBD II port broke the clips on the sides of the port that hold the connector in place. Every time you plugged in, you would have to hold the lower dash trim and force the connector in, hoping it doesn't break inwards. Eventually, you decide enough is enough and fix it. Remove the lower dashboard plastic panel trim by undoing the T20 or T25 Torx screw. Before we remove it, know that there are wires connected to it, so don't pull too hard. Holding it by the front, give it a firm but controlled tug down, which should unseat the clips. Unclip the light and OBD II port to finish removing the plastic panel. In this chapter, we're going to take a generic OBD II port extension and install it into the lower dashboard panel. Not only is this an OBD II extender, it's also a splitter, which comes in handy when you want to leave a Bluetooth scanner installed. I chose the splitter based on its length, making it easy to work with, and because the ports roughly match the opening on the lower dash panel. The actual piece we're going to work with is the plastic cap piece that holds the OBD II port. We can remove it from the lower dashboard panel by pressing it in on the plastic clips on the sides. Remove that, and now we're going to mount the connector in place. The connector is a close fit to the plastic cap piece in terms of size, but it is a bit too big. We have to do a bit of trimming. There's plastic here and here that protrude and conflict, and basically epoxy this into place. Using a small hacksaw, we detach the blade, reattach it inside of the connector, and trim down any conflicting plastic. With the connector hollowed out, I was able to insert this connector here, more or less orient it in the right position, and basically we're going to slowly but surely pour little bits of epoxy, first in the corners, then around, and basically epoxy this in a 20-step epoxy process, because there are a lot of holes to cover and stuff like that, and little by little, add epoxy, let it dry, add epoxy, let it dry, and then once we're done, we should have a big solid block of epoxy. We just plop into the panel here, and the cover is still intact. So let's get to epoxying. I've epoxied things before and like the adhesion and durability of dried epoxy. So no need to stop this video and take the time to comment on how professionally I did this. Cutting very small strips and just applying a lot of small strips where it doesn't fit. Around the wire was a little bit careful, then you work your way up and just wrap it around the wire. And it helps to get it in using these least fun game of operation of all time. There's definitely epoxy in there, it's definitely starting to do something. But the goop is too viscous too. Viscous goop does make its way down. I was able to get a couple of these plastic syringes at a local pharmacy. There we go, it's sucking some in. That's working much better. A thin layer is gonna get in the way. And you can see I did get some epoxy on the connector. What do they always say? Over-engineered is opinion, under-engineered is fact. We're going to apply a little bit here from the bottom. So a minute later, there we go. Finished connector. Not going anywhere. Do a little bit of trimming. There we go. That is going nowhere. Cool. Now we can leave a reader connected inside and connect it all up. And we have a diagnostic tool, the built-in thing for the head unit. Connect the light back into position. You just line up the Torx thing at the front. These two clips. That gray plastic there. You just line it up with at the back and insert it onto it. But we line that up. Just make sure it's inserted onto it, I believe. These two clips in. And left and right. And we're in business. And we have both a fixed OBD II port and a built-in Bluetooth reader. If you feel like being thorough, we can reinstall the T20, but it holds just fine and dandy without it. Lo and behold. So I had to swap it out from Cayenne, which is straight trash, you don't believe me, read the reviews to the name brand one, more or less. That has Bluetooth 4.0, all the features. After that, after just not changing anything, letting it think for a little bit, available sensors, number of trouble codes, engine coolant, short-term, long-term trim, RPM, vehicle speed, throttle position, fuel rail pressure, all these very useful things.